Hey yo, what's up guys? So, not a gaming video but an art video this time. We're gonna do the style challenge. How very exciting. We're gonna draw my wife, Leon, in 8 different styles, and this post commentary, I'm gonna note interesting things about the different styles, alright? So we have our first style, which is the regular Pokemon style. It's very simple. Leon's eyes are different from the generic Pokemon character eyes, so him and Hop has the same eyes, and they don't do like sharp edges. Like you can see his hair at the very ends is rounder. You can see the same with like Rockruff and stuff, but it's a very squishy looking. Pokemon characters and Pokemon now look very squishy. So with the cape, I just did overlays. This is just how he normally looks like. I just try to mimic the style. I tried doing a copy paste of the pattern, but I just hand drew it. It just made my life so much easier. So this is just the basic style. There's nothing much to say about this. The shading is just basic too. There's not much. They don't shade that much. They don't shade the face unless they're obviously wearing a hat or is wearing a hat, and it's very simplistic shading with some blending at the very end of it, and they always have that light tip at the end. So, and then we have our second style, which is my own style. So this is just my regular style. My style is mostly just me trying to be like Katsura Hoshino / I don't know what happened to my art style. My art style has changed so much in like ever since I used this program because of the brushes they use. So with the line brush that I use, is not a solid brush like the one I use for the Pokemon style. It's like a transparent, like opacity lowered brush. So that I used to do that solid black line as well, but now I just kind of just do the sketching, whatever. It just makes it so much easier. I don't have to be too accurate, but it still looks nice enough. And my style is obviously more detailed than the Pokemon style. The Pokemon style is very simple. It's very cartoon, but my style is more like, it still has that anime influence. It's, I guess, leaning more towards semi-realism, but definitely obviously it's like maybe 7 to 3 ratio anime to realism. And of course I just hand drew everything. The brush in this one for the shading is this very nice blending brush, and for me, when I shade, I do an outline that's darker than the shaded shadow color to make it high quality. I don't know how to describe it. I'm very bad at describing things, as if you can tell, but I'm trying my best. So his fur coat, all the fur like cape, I made it every style I have to do it differently because I don't really know what it's supposed to be. And obviously with his beard, I'm not gonna, like in the Pokemon style you saw, I had to draw the outline. With my style, I just draw lines like actual hair for his beard. And my style has much more blending. It's not just it's not shell shaded. The Pokemon style wasn't exactly shell shaded, but it had slight blending with like a lower opacity brush. But mine is definitely much more blended with almost like a watercolor kind of brush, but it's not exactly watercolor. So this one is probably the ugliest of all of them. Not the art style, but my drawing of it. I hate this. I hate my version of, you'll see what it looks like. in just a couple seconds. Like so this is a Splatoon drawing. Obviously they're more rounded. The body shape is a little weird because Splatoon characters have this weird proportion where their hands are long, and if you see that weird cut, that's because my program crashed while I was coloring it, so I had to redo some of it, and apparently some footage didn't save. So I think the best part that I did was just the tentacle hair because of I got to respect my tentacles, and I also kind of forgot to draw the white lines on his outfit. I also almost wanted to change his outfit to make it like stylized, like how a Splatoon character would wear, like a jacket and stuff, but I didn't do that. Another thing is that, so this was not like I'm drawing a 3D model version of Splatoon, it's more like that the illustrations and the contrast with his mouth is a bit weird, which is rough because the eyes and the mouth are always the same hair color the same color in Splatoon drawings, and that yellow with his brown skin doesn't contrast without an outline. And I just added the background because that drawing really needed some contrast at the back. So this one is the Disney one. The Disney one looks so creepy in the sketch. It looks fine at the final. It does look kind of like a Disney character, but as the sketch is a horrifying thing. And it's so cringy, so I had to reference Eric from The Little Mermaid and Aladdin for his smile, because he's obviously smiling with his teeth open, and he also had to he had to add extra lines under his eyes, not to the point where he looks like he's hasn't had any sleep. And another thing about this and the next one are the easy ones because they didn't have any shading at all. Disney does have some shading when it reached Hercules and Tarzan, but Little Mermaid, Snow White, they didn't have any shading, so I didn't do any shading. And the t-shirt, I didn't put any details at all. I just put a picture of the base shield and the base sword. No lines, there's no white outlines, because that's how Disney did their animation back then. They had no details on their shirt. If it's a shirt, it's just a white shirt. There ain't no patterns, no there. And they would color the outlines as well. That really made the drawing more like Disney. So there we go. We're gonna give him some life in his eyes now in the picture. And yeah, that's it. And the fur is it's very simple. It's very base. It's the same is with this Adventure Time one, where it's just a solid line. There's barely any creasing in the shirt. There's no separation really in the hair, and there's no details either. With Adventure Time, I had to draw his legs too because it was such a simple drawing, this art style makes everything very small. But also another thing with the Disney one is I had to desaturate it because the Disney colors were not as bright as the Pokemon ones, and the Splatoon one I had to saturate it even more. With this one I also saturated it even more, and I also did the same thing where there was no details on the shirt. Because with Adventure Time, I noticed the details are only there if necessary, but if it's just a shirt, it's just gonna be a shirt. So this one was Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. This is where the anime style start out, but this was probably, I would say, the hardest of all the 8 styles to do. Like, of all the styles I had to do, this was definitely took the longest. So in Demon Slayer, all of them look like squares. They all look very thick. None of them, they're not long. The style after this, you're gonna see that the characters there are very long, but the characters in Demon Slayer, they're very squarish, and a lot of them. One thing that was hard about drawing Leon as a Demon Slayer character is that he's wearing a tight shirt. A lot of Kimetsu no Yaiba characters wear baggy clothes and yukatas and all this. The only reference I could find to how a body would look like is the guy with a pig face who doesn't even have a shirt, and another guy that I will put on the screen. But yeah, they all have very big eyes that take up half the face. They have very squarish faces. The other thing that was hard to find was a reference for a bearded character, because none of them are bearded characters, And another reference that was hard to find was a darker skin character, because none of them really have dark skin like Leon's, which is crazy because his skin is not like that dark. But everybody in Kimetsu no Yaiba has like white skin, but whatever, that's not the point. But yeah, with Kimetsu no Yaiba, the other thing, the reason why I picked Kimetsu no Yaiba is because even though the style is difficult, it's unique. Like, I look at that and I can tell it's a Kimetsu no Yaiba character. So now you can see me struggle with the shading of the muscles. But yeah, every character in Kimetsu no Yaiba has different eyes. Every eye is gonna look different. The only common thing is that they're all very big. None of them have small eyes. You know, sometimes with anime you see big eyes equals a happier character, and a more angsty character would have like sharper eyes. Not with Kimetsu no Yaiba. With Kimetsu no Yaiba, all of them are squares with big eyes. And the shading was a bit hard, so I tried to just follow the anime shading. The manga shading, I don't remember. As of talking right now, I literally don't remember how it looks like. But for him, it was also hard to find a reference for his king's cape fur. So I had to reference the pig guy again because he has that fur on his waist. And for the hair, I had to reference that I don't know, I don't watch Kimetsu no Yaiba. I had to reference some girl and the one guy. I'll put the pictures on the screen. And I put gradients on the hair because some characters in Kimetsu no Yaiba have gradient hair. I just added that as a lol. Haha. So this style is the opposite of Kimetsu no Yaiba. This is the Bleach art style. Now Bleach has a problem with the same face syndrome, so that made it easier for me because I just had to copy someone's face. And they always have that mouth. They have that mouth where the side of the lips, the lines are way thicker, and it's always white. They you know, when they're talking, they always have their mouth, and they always have longer eyes. Bleach, while Kimetsu no Yaiba is, they all look short and squarish with big eyes. Bleach is the opposite, where they're all long. This part right here you see me is how I'm gonna shade it, like I was just practicing how to shade it. So with the Bleach art, I didn't do the anime art style, I did the manga shading. So I shaded it black and white like the manga. Because the anime just has the basic like shell shaded anime manga, it wasn't interesting enough. Did I say manga? The anime shading wasn't that interesting, but the manga art style manga shading makes it look like Bleach. So Bleach rarely uses the color gray. It looks gray now because the opacity is lower, but they rarely use the color gray. All their shading really comes from lines, and all their lines usually go downwards. So yeah, and this is another thing about Bleach. If it's dark, it's gonna be black in the manga. Like the shirt is gray, it's black. His hair is dark purple, it's black. So that made it a bit easier. And yeah, I just use white shading. Yeah, they rarely use gray. The only time they use gray is when it's like nighttime or something like that. So this is the last style. This one took a while to figure out how the proportions work, but this is the JOJO art style. Of course I had to do the JOJO art style. It's everyone recognizes these art styles: Kimetsu, Bleach, and JOJO. I surprised myself drawing this because I was like, so what I do is I would turn off the sketch layer just to see how it looks like, and I literally like got myself shook at how similar it looked like. How I said I did a good job with the JOJO art style. So Kimetsu no Yaiba, like I draw anime style, but Kimetsu no Yaiba style is completely off the way I draw anime. But JOJO and Bleach are more similar to how I do things, so it was a bit easier. Now I had to reference the Pillar Man for this one, because again, like Leon's wearing a skin tight shirt, you know, I had to see the pecs. And with the hair was the hardest to find a reference or to like decide what to do with the hair, because look at JOJO, everyone's hair is different. And with the coloring, I tried to reference the manga's coloring, because again, like the anime's one is just like the basic anime, like 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 a hard shading, but the manga has more blending, so I just tried that. And with also he's wearing lipstick because JoJo just has weird lipstick sometimes. I almost made it green, which is like half the characters in JoJo, but I made it the sword and shield colors because why the hell not? And I literally was dying laughing at this at some point. Maybe you can see in my fast forward face that you can see me laughing at the drawing. But yeah, I'm hoping I get all that I want to say out. But yeah, and also after I shaded with the base color that I just picked off from the regular artwork, I would shift the hue to make it a weird color, because that's just JoJo, man. JoJo doesn't use normal colors. Make his hair purple? No, I'm gonna make it a freaking other color. You know, after you see me, look, I just changed the shade to be brighter, more saturated, and just slightly different hue. And I added the purple background because it's JoJo. So those are 8 art styles. Hopefully I said everything that I needed to say. But yeah, if I missed anything, don't worry. I'm just saying whatever comes out of my mouth. But thank you for watching. Here are the 8 art styles zoomed in again. We have the Pokemon art style, which is the regular one, the Splatoon one, which is probably my least favorite of what I did. That's probably the ugliest one. His body is just weird. I just can't deal with his body. I think the tentacles are fine. Of course I do. But I think the tentacles look fine. Also, another thing with the tentacles is that, you know, there's random pink or green splashes that I added on the artwork because Splatoon, you know, is about ink or something. The Disney one, I actually like the Disney one, like not because I'm the hugest fan of Disney art style, but because I think I did a pretty okay job doing the Disney art, trying to mimic the Disney art style, also with the body compared to the other art styles. Obviously, in the Disney art style, they don't really draw like a six-pack. They just draw just a flat thing. I would reference Shang for that body. Oh yeah. And also I didn't do the diamonds for this one, and like the diamonds on his cape for this and the Adventure Time art style, because again, with these two art styles, they don't do details on clothes, you know. And the same with the Adventure Time one, they don't do details on clothes. Also with the Disney's beard, I changed the color, and with the Adventure Time, his shirt also doesn't have the details, like the white lines and stuff. And the Kimetsu no Yaiba, which I like it. Like, I think I did okay. His body looks small compared to his head, but that's also like from what I noticed trying to mimic the art style and looking at the characters like for hours. That's literally how they look like. They look like they have big square heads, but that's just how it is. Maybe the body is just a little bit too small, but That's one thing with Kimetsu no Yaiba. Again, they wear baggy clothes, you know, their clothes are like blankets, so it was hard to reference. So I think the Bleach and the JoJo art styles are my favorite that I did. I think that they really look like the actual art, like other than the shading of the JoJo art, which definitely doesn't exactly look like how the JoJo manga art shading is, but the line art itself and like the lips look like a JoJo character. And then the Bleach one is like, the Bleach one was it looks complex, but it was the easiest one just because Bleach has a problem with like the same face syndrome. But you know, who's to say that's a bad thing sometimes. And then we have just my art style, which is just whatever. Just whatever. I got nothing to say about my art style. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you like them. There's definitely so many other art styles of other mangas and all that I want to do in the future, maybe. If you guys like this video, we will do other art styles of other characters in the future. But I'll see you guys on the next stream or the next video. Goodbye, and for now, Peace.